Oh yeah, we'll dress our salad. And I always like to put a little bit of some beans in there, and again, reading labels, sugar, salt, etc. So tell me, as I dress it with a very simple vinaigrette, it's just olive oil and balsamic vinegar.
So I always get confused, because when I'm in the store, it just seems like there's all these choices.
Right, of olive oil.
Yeah, and then the vinaigrette. So what do you go with? I mean, I sometimes get overwhelmed because then I get it home and it maybe not be the flavor I'm looking for.
Right. Well, again, reading labels is important.
Okay.
Extra virgin olive oil is from the first cold pressing.
Okay.
Least amount of acid, most amount of flavor.
That's why you want extra virgin
olive oil.
Yeah,
but this is just pure, which is okay. It's from successive pressings, not quite as fruity. Really delicious.
And what vinegar do you like?
It's balsamic vinegar. Equal amounts or a little more oil if you want, a little garlic if you have it, whatever. But basically it's an oil and balsamic vinegar dressing, which is real trendy and expensive in the stores. This is pure stuff. There's no additives, no
way.
Just
so
olive
really
oil.
It's just olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette, and you just go down where the vinegar aisle is.
Yeah. Just balsamic vinegar and olive oil, or canola, because you got the omega-3s in canola. So whatever suits your palate.
Okay.
And this is my weekly batch of vinaigrette. It'll keep for weeks in the fridge. Just shake it up and pour it on your salad. So
and that would, the longer it stands, probably the more flavor?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us about the beans.
Okay, so beans, first of all, if you are somebody who is a vegetarian, a true vegetarian is someone who does no meat, no fish, no pork, nothing, and no dairy. There's some key things here with beans. They're a great source of protein. However, they're not a complete protein. And what we need is they call them essential amino acids or indispensable amino acids, as they've kind of changed the terminology. But essential amino acids are essential for us to get them in our diet. What it is it takes the protein, and the protein breaks it down into amino acids. And then the body takes what it needs from that and does repair, recovery, enzymes, hormones, those types of things. But the thing you have to understand is you always have, this does not have all the essential amino acids, it has some. So this is wonderful, but you would want to pair this up with some type of grain. So maybe some whole grain crackers, you always hear beans and rice.
Right. So
that together is all your essential amino acids. Now the one thing I want to share with people, because most people don't know this, if they usually tell you if you eat your rice at night and your beans in the morning, you're fine. The body will be okay. It can take it from those two different times. However, if you're active, which we all should be, we need to get at least 2.5 hours in of working out a week. So an hour and a half of cardio, 1 hour of strength training or resistance, Pilates, yoga, your own body weight. But the more active, you have to then put the complementary proteins together. Because when you're building your muscle and you're working it out, it repairs all throughout the day. So if you're not putting them together, guess what? It doesn't say, well, I'll wait till dinner time to see if he or she is going to give me this other essential amino acid. It actually then will take the amino acid from the muscle.
So that's not good.
So the more active you are, you always have to pair them together. So that's why I was saying in this instance, if you're that person who's an athlete or extremely active, then you definitely want to have some whole grain crackers or something from the grain category to do with that. But also, just to point out, the feta is dairy, and that is a complete protein. And anything soy, which is rather interesting. If this was soybeans, if this was edamame, soy is actually the one plant food or bean that is a complete protein that has all your essential amino acids. So sometimes if they didn't want to put that whole grain, they could switch this to a soy.
Yeah, and you can buy soy now.
Or tofu or anything like that. Or in our smoothie, that's putting the silken tofu in there.
Yes.
So it all depends on what you're doing. So it's so important because it builds, repairs, recovers muscle tissue. And the sad part is what people don't realize, after age 30, we all have a propensity to lose anywhere from 1/2 to 2 pounds of lean tissue a year. If we don't do
'Cause
something
I'm
to
on
maintain
twice that.
it.
Oh my gosh.
So if you don't do something
How
to
do I look?
maintain it, you look awesome. She is fabulous.
She has to say that.
No, she is wonderful. But so understand then you have to do some type of resistance training because you're going to lose that lean tissue. That lean tissue is your metabolism. This is your engine. This is strong bones. This is walking down the street. Is still living long and living, carefree. So it's extremely important to get the proteins and mix those together and get that in.
Get it in. And I do a lot of extra firm tofu on my salads too.
Okay.
But it's so important when you think of that with kids too. That's
yeah.
Because start them early, and that's your mantra, start them early.
And it's so healthy, lots of fiber. That's another thing with beans is, this thing has tons of fiber. But fiber, again, for an adult, at least 25, sometimes up to 40 grams of fiber. But again, the average person gets 8 to 12 grams of fiber in a day. But that means because they're not doing their fruits and vegetables and the whole grains and the beans. And with people who have cholesterol issues, you produce 10% of your cholesterol in your liver, and you produce 10% of your cholesterol in your gut. So actually getting that mixture, and beans are great.
I know they
for
cholesterol
soluble
out.
fiber, and your veggies are great in the other fiber, which is insoluble. You put those two together, and it's a great mixture. And then also it just keeps your blood sugars constant. So again, we don't have the up and down rise. So then we're more of a fat burning mechanism than a fat storing mechanism.
Well, and it makes sense because remember when your mom said eat your greens, they're good for you.
Yep.
And beans used to be poor man's food, but now so trendy. Every
and
good
it's affordable.
restaurant. Yeah.
You can't. They're so cheap.
I know. So there you go. That looks delicious.
It's wonderful.
Now, since